Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Yuvi, and if this is your first time here, you are welcome. Thank you for joining us today. On this channel, I talk about my experiences as a Nigerian living in Cabo Verde. So if this is the sort of thing that interests you, then make sure to click the subscribe button and stay tuned. So you guys are gonna have to bear with me as we go along because it's quite dark outside. It was raining before, and yes, it's almost nighttime. So I have to turn on all the lights and everything looks a bit shadowy-ish, but yes, we're gonna continue. So let us begin. Let's get into biggest cultural shock. Yay! Well, you guys know that I'm Nigerian, right? So there are definitely lots of cultural practices and lots of cultural behaviors that are going to strike me as different or odd or like, what? Yeah, so that's what I'm going to be talking about in today's video, right? And the first thing I'm going to be mentioning is something that I always talk about. I always tell you guys this. Y'all can bear me witness, right? And that is that Capeverdeans are so beautiful. Like, they're so beautiful. The men, the women, everyone's so pretty. And there's not, I said this before, that there's not just one look for the Cape Verdeans. It's almost as though multiple races just mixed together just to form this. I'm holding my book, that's what you guys can see, right? And it's just amazing. Like, you think that after staying, 2 years in Cabo Verde, you think, well, she's gonna get used to it. But no, I'm not used to it. Like, they're just so pretty, so pretty. Some people are like completely white. Some people are really black, like the Senegalese black, and they're just so pretty. And it's like, dude, how did they just put all of you in this space? The second biggest cultural shock I'm going to talk about is the way Cape Verdeans dress. I know I haven't traveled a lot, right? But from videos I watch and from a few African countries that I've been to, I know the way they dress. Everyone has their own Ankara. But over here in Cabo Verde, I heard that it's only recently that they started to wear Ankara and stuff. I mean, the only day I ever saw a Cape Verdean white woman wearing a full-blown Ankara outfit with a wrapper and a blouse and a headscarf. Wow. I was like, oh my God, would I look creepy right now to just walk up to this lady who looks like she's in a hurry going somewhere and say, please let me just take a picture of you. I just think you are amazing right now. I don't know, but I didn't do it. So otherwise I would have put the picture here, but I didn't do it. But that was the only time, the one and only time I ever saw a Cape Verdean white woman fully dressed as an African woman. Because most of the time, Cape Verdeans like to wear English wears, really nice, skimpy, sexy looking kind of clothes. Yeah, that's the way most of them, I'm talking about the ladies now, that's the way most of them dress. But even the men, you barely ever see any Cape Verdean man who perhaps did not come from Senegal or somewhere, you know, or whose parents are not from any of these other African countries, putting on Ankara. So that for me is actually a major, coming from a place where you have this and this and this. Yeah, so definitely that's like a major cultural shock for me. Also talking about the dressing, right? One thing that is still like a major cultural shock. I know that around the world now, cross-dressing is now more and more normal, right? But in Nigeria, it's not really something you see. Yes, there are people like that who cross-dress, but it's mainly the girls. You know, it's normal for a girl to dress like a tomboy, and you know, I used to be a tomboy until God and my sister saved my life, right? But that was it, right? And you just see girls who can do whatever. But for a guy to dress like a girl, wow, you'd get harassed by other men. But over here in Cabo Verde, because being gay is not a crime, you have a lot of gay people, which is actually another major cultural shock. But speaking about the dressing part, we have a lot of cross-dressers in skirts and gowns and earrings and makeup. Yes, you find that here, right? It may seem strange, but I find it so exciting when I see people like this. And sometimes you see a guy dressed as a girl and you think it's a girl until the person comes close to you and you're like, oh my God, that's actually a guy. And It's very funny to me, really. But that's another major cultural shock. It's not something that I'm used to from where I'm coming from. You guys get what I'm saying, right? Where I'm from, it's different. So coming here and seeing that people can wear whatever, being gay is not a crime. In Nigeria, some of you don't know this, for those of you who are not Nigerians, but as a Nigerian, it's 14 years imprisonment if you're caught. Now things are much less because over in Nigeria we have lots of gay people and cross-dressers, and it's beginning to become more and more acceptable, right? But still, in certain circumstances, if you're caught being gay, you go to jail. Yes, there are lots of people who have been arrested just for being gay in Nigeria. Yes. So coming over here to Cabo Verde, which is still in Africa, there are other African countries where being gay is a crime. Yes, a lot of other African countries. But Nigeria has one of the most severe punishments for being gay. For me, that's a major difference. That's a major disparity for me. You guys know the way when you meet someone for the first time and you expect to be asked questions such as, what's your name? What do you do for a living? Or where do you work? Or where do you come from? What's your nationality? I'm not saying that these questions are not asked by most Capeverdeans. It's just one very popular question that everyone always gets to ask, even before anything else, is, Bute feed you? Bute feed you? I've said this before, Bute feed you? Like, everyone's gonna ask you, do you have a kid? Do you have a child? And I'm like, no, I don't have a child. I always say that all the time, right? Because everyone wants to know. Why? Because almost everyone has a kid, right? It's very normal to have even kids, having kids, right? I mean, 13-year-olds and really, really young kids having kids as well. It's very, 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 very normal. And you know, even the kids who have kids, right? When they're pregnant, they actually are allowed to go to school with the pregnancy. Which for me, I'm like, what? This is very different. Even in other places, I mean, in first world countries, I mean, kids are not allowed to go to school with pregnancies. When they know you're pregnant, you have to withdraw from the school, right? So over here in Cape Verde, everything's quite, like I tell you guys all the time, laid back, you know, no stress. So people go to school with pregnancies, and even when they give birth, they go to the school with the babies to show their friends and, you know, say, hey, I gave birth. Yay! Coming from where I am, where it's like, ooh, a taboo if you have a kid, as someone who's not married, it's like, wow, you've shamed your family and everything. And then you get here and you see it's actually very normal. I'm not saying that everyone is really happy about it, but it's not really a big deal, so to speak, right? So that for me is like a major cultural shock, because everyone asks me, Bute Fiju, Bute Fiju, Bute Fiju. Like, what is all of this on Bute Fiju? Like, I don't got a kid. I mean, I hope to have, but I don't think I'm in that, you know, financial stage to be having a kid right now. So yes, I don't have a kid. Moving on. Now, this one is especially for my Nigerian brethren. You know this thing growing up as kids where when an adult asks you to give them something and then you go with your left hand and then they smack that hand because it's like, how dare you give me something with your left hand? Give it to me with your right. There's always this thing where the right hand is praised over the left hand. In Nigerian society, you can't give an elderly person, even your age grade, whatever you call it, your age mates, you can't really give them things with the left hand because we already have this mindset of it being disrespectful. But over here in Cabo Verde, you can give people, I have so much fun when I'm like, ooh, I can give you something with my left hand. It's stupid, but I find it exciting because in Nigeria, you can't do that. It's seen as being disrespectful. But over here, nobody cares. You're giving the person something, right? You might as well take it, and nobody even sees it as anything, really. And so I just go and I give people things with my left hand because it's like, ooh, this is exciting. In Nigeria, I'd never be able to do this. So I know that there are people in Nigeria, yeah, who have tattoos and lots of piercings and all that stuff. But based on our culture, when you, for instance, my hair like this, when I first dyed my hair, people were like, woo, good girl gone bad. Even when I cut my hair, woo, she's a bad girl now. You get it? Because there's this concept of where you modify your look in the slightest way, like having a piercing or dyeing one's hair or having tattoos, is seen as you are now a bad person. Yes, in Nigeria, it's very common. You hear people say things like ashawo, which means prostitute in Nigerian slangs, right? Or they say good girl gone bad or whatever they have to say, right? So coming down here in Cabo Verde, where everyone seems to have a tattoo somehow, because even people you see, looking like the type of person we would call Mary Magdalene in Nigeria, or Sister Mary, Sister Mary. Next thing you know, you see one tattoo on the back. You're like, what? It looks like two separate things. Like what? You understand? And what makes it even more shocking for me is that even government officials can work with tattoos. I hear in Nigeria that if you want to join the Nigerian army, you have to take out your tattoos and everything, blah, blah, blah. And you can't even join because when they see you have a tattoo as a person, they just assume gangster. Yes, some people do it for art. Some people do it because they want to be gangster. But not everyone does it to be gangster, right? So over here, you see some really handsome looking police officers looking all macho and all, and then you see the tattoos, like a sleeve tattoo. For women, I noticed they tend to have lots of tattoos on the legs and on the back, right? And I met some people the other day, a man and his wife and their little kid, and this man literally covered in tattoos. I'm going to put the picture here, right here, for you guys to see. I took a picture with them because I was at the hospital and I was like, whoa, these guys are just so attractive right now. The woman also, so many tattoos, and the man, tattoos, and the piercing right here. And I'm like, okay, if I don't take a picture with these people, I'm not gonna be happy with myself. So I have to take a picture. You get it? I find it really fascinating. You have some people with tattoos all over, on the face, on the back. I saw this guy who cut everywhere on his head, and he only had this part of his hair, and he had tattoos everywhere. And it's like you're in a foreign land. Like, when you see people's pictures of people covered in tattoos in the US, that's like a representation of that here as well in Cabo Verde. And I know that Capeverdeans have lots of affiliations with the US, a lot of it. So perhaps that's the influence they're getting from the US as well, perhaps. But I find it mind-blowing, the piercings, and you see guys with earrings and nose piercings and eye piercings and mouth, lip piercings, tongue piercings, and piercings everywhere. And it's like, it's just so much, really. The final thing I'm gonna be talking about, the final cultural shock, is I've never seen any group, any ethnicity, or whatever you want to call it, of people who love life so much. Don't get me wrong, I love life, right? Everyone loves to be alive, but what I mean is they love to have a good time all the time, right? Just recently, just yesterday, I heard that people were getting baptized and everything, and you need to see the massive party. And I'm like, dude, from morning to nighttime, people are partying, drinking, dancing, and everything. And I'm like, dude, is that a marriage or what's going on? And then they say, oh, it's just baptism. And I'm like, what? What? It's like these people will look for any reason to party, any reason to have a good time, any reason at all. Capeverdeans love to have a good time. Whenever there is a holiday, okay, shops are closed, nothing's going on. In the afternoon, we go home on the day of work, and then we come back when we're done resting and sleeping. You get it? Like, there's this vibe of, I can't come and kill myself, right? That's the kind of vibe you get from Capeverdeans. I cannot come and go and kill myself. That's the vibe you get from them, because everyone just loves to have fun. Everyone just loves to have a good time. I spoke to a Capeverdean, that's Edu. I don't know if you guys saw him in my video about the Gamboa thing. And yes, so he told me that one of the reasons why Capeverdeans like to always have a good time is because it's very easy to get bored here in Cape Verde, right? Because there's not much really going on. There are no parks. When I mean parks, I mean parks with, I'm thinking montagne russe, but that's in French. What do you call this thing? The thing, I will look for the name in English when I remember, and I will put it right here, montagne russe. Yeah, we don't have any of these things that are exciting, or if you're not traveling, if you're not partying at night, if you're not going to a friend's party, if you're not, going to the beach, if you're not going to the movies, which no one ever really does, there's nothing really left to really do to have fun, right? So that's the reason why at every given opportunity, when there is a little party, everyone wants to go, because it's like, well, I mean, there's not much really going on, right? So what he said really makes a lot of sense because it's very easy to get bored. Even I sometimes get bored. I told someone that, oh, I never get bored, right? But lately I find myself feeling bored, like, because I'm the sort of person who doesn't like a monotonous life. I don't like to do the same thing over and over and over and over, you know, just doing the same thing every day, the same routine. I really absolutely hate that. So yes, it's very easy to find yourself in that routine when you live here. That's one thing I've noticed. Except you're the sort of person who has a lot of money and you don't have to work, right? That you can go out every day, you can travel to all the islands and visit. And yes, but eventually you get tired because I mean, it's just doing the same thing over and over, right? So for today, that's all I'm going to be talking about, right? And I hope you guys stay tuned because I'm going to be putting another part of this video, right? This is like the part 1. I'm going to be talking about other things because there were lots of things to talk about. And I thought, if I put all of this in one video, it's going to be too long. No one's going to sit their asses down to watch all of this and it's just me talking, right? So I'm going to talk about that in the next one, okay? I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. And for those Nigerians who are in other countries, I'd like to hear about your biggest major cultural shocks that you've experienced in the countries you're in. And yes, if you're a Capeverdean or whoever living in Nigeria, I'd also like to know what your big cultural shocks are as well in the comment section. So thank you so much for watching my video as always, and I hope to see you in the next one. Obrigada. Ciao.